Stretching for 500,000 square miles from southern Mongolia to northern China, the Gobi Desert is the most expansive desert in Asia and the fifth largest desert in the world. Desolate and unforgiving, it is no place for tourists seeking a vacation. But beneath its barren surface is a surprising treasure trove of dinosaur fossils. That trove was discovered in 1922 during an expedition led by Roy Chapman Andrews, an inspiration for action movie icon Indiana Jones. Andrews' intent was to find fossils to prove that Asia was the birthplace of all mammals, including humankind. What he found instead was one of the richest and most interesting Mesozoic ecosystems ever known. An astonishing variety of animals, including dinosaurs, were found. Among these fossils were the first dinosaur eggs ever known to science, as well as one of the most infamous dinosaurs of all time. These fossils not only tell us how dinosaurs died, but also how they lived, how they took care of their young, and most importantly, they tell of their relationship with birds. These are the stories of the dinosaurs that lived, fought, bred, and died in Mongolia's graveyard desert, here on Dinosaurs Unleashed. Nighttime in Cretaceous Mongolia. In stark contrast to most other ecosystems at this time, the region is an arid semi-desert. Rain only falls a few times each year, and in the day, temperatures can reach a scorching 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of this, most animals become active at night, like this subadult Pinacosaurus. A type of ankylosaur, Pinacosaurus is a part of an advanced group of thyreophorans, whose armor evolved greatly from that of the nodosaurs. Ankylosaurs have much stronger armor, and instead of having protective spikes, They wield bony clubs at the end of their tails, able to crush bones and rupture vital organs with one well-placed hit. But that doesn't make this dinosaur totally safe. And it's at nighttime when the area's deadliest killer comes out to hunt. Velociraptor, the most notorious of all dromaeosaurs.
What is it? It's a velociraptor.
Gaining its infamous reputation from Jurassic Park, Velociraptor has now become a paleontological icon. In the film, they were portrayed as hyper-intelligent pack hunters that reached the height and size of a man. But how accurate were the raptors from Hollywood to those in real life? Well, to start, the size of the movie Velociraptors is completely wrong. At only 2 meters long, an adult velociraptor was roughly the size of a dog and did not reach the size of those in Jurassic Park. Granted, there have been claims that say the raptors in the movie were based off of other, larger dromaeosaurs, such as Deinonychus. But let's face it, the movie called them velociraptors, so we might as well base them off of real velociraptors. On another note, Velociraptor was a much slimmer dromaeosaur than its film counterpart, as well as its larger cousins, like Utahraptor. Because it was less bulky, it may have been a faster runner. But the biggest difference between the film Velociraptor and the real Velociraptor is the fact that in life, Velociraptor had feathers. And there is proof to go along with this idea. In September of 2007, small bumps were found on the forearm of a velociraptor. These were quill knobs, which are found on modern-day birds, and they show where the feathers were anchored in life. The presence of quill knobs on a velociraptor is solid proof that this dinosaur was in fact feathered like a bird, and not truly scaly like a lizard or snake. The Pinacosaurus is a big meal, even for 2 velociraptors. On the left is Ajax. Joining him is his mate, Andromeda. Together, they make a formidable hunting team. But tonight will be their last hunt for a while. Andromeda is pregnant, and will have to stay and watch their brood until they hatch. For the next month or so, Ajax will have to hunt alone. Because of the unique conditions of the Gobi, much of the plant life has evolved to specifically deal with little water. Their roots store water for long periods of time in between heavy rains, and their seeds can remain dormant for years, germinating only when the storms come. As their leaves are usually glossy or waxy in texture, these plants are very rarely edible, but for dinosaurs like these Protoceratops, beggars can't be choosers. Growing up to 2 meters in length, Protoceratops is a primitive ceratopsian and the most common herbivore in these deserts. This herd has found some flowers among the tastier choices of plant material in this dry world. As with most animals here, they are most active in low light conditions. Ajax is no stranger to hunting these animals. But Protoceratops live in groups, and this sociality makes the weaker individuals safer from attack. A juvenile on the edge of the herd makes for an easy kill. At 2 meters long, this Tsaagan is big enough to take on Ajax. In another part of the desert, a few miles west of Ajax and Andromeda's nest, a strange resident of the Gobi is trying his luck at courtship. This is a male Citipati, and he's attempting to impress this female. Another male arrives. At 3 meters in length, Citipati were slightly bigger than Velociraptor, with a bad attitude to boot. Citipati belongs to a strange group of dinosaurs, called the Oviraptorosaurs. Though both families are theropods, Oviraptorosaurs aren't closely related to dromaeosaurs. They are a particular group of dinosaurs, the earliest of their kind evolving around 50 million years before Citipati. Creatures like Caudipteryx were among the first Oviraptorosaurs. The term Oviraptorosaur is derived from Oviraptor itself. Oviraptor means egg thief, named after a particularly unique fossil found during Andrew's expedition. It contains the body of an Oviraptorosaur, once considered an oviraptor, now believed to have been Citipati, as well as 22 eggs, the very first dinosaur eggs ever found in the world. When Andrews first observed the fossil, he believed that the dinosaur died while trying to steal eggs from a Protoceratops nest. And so, the name Oviraptor was coined. To be fair, it's not entirely unlikely Oviraptorosaurs like Citipati and Oviraptor fed upon eggs. Their mouths lacked any teeth, and instead there is a bird-like beak that would have been strong enough to crack through tough eggshells. But the honest truth is that Andrew's specimen wasn't stealing the eggs, as the position of the dinosaur seems out of place for an egg robbery. So what exactly was it doing? A week later, and the Citipati pair have become parents. Recent studies on Andrew's find now support that the Citipati specimen was actually a caring parent, and that it died protecting these eggs, which were its own, and not stolen from a Protoceratops nest. It's a behavior common in most birds and crocodiles, the dinosaur's closest kin, but very rarely is such behavior recorded in fossils. A true milestone in our understanding of these incredible animals. A few miles elsewhere, Ajax continues to search for prey. Velociraptors probably had high metabolisms and may have needed to make a kill almost every night just to survive. Once again, he finds a herd of Protoceratops. This old male's leadership of the herd is now under threat. Protoceratops may lack the long horns of their bigger cousins, and are a bit more docile, but they are not without weaponry. A well-placed headbutt can break a rib or two, and their beaks can crack through bone in one bite. The old bull has escaped serious injury, but his time as leader is over. Ajax sees his opportunity. Ajax may have lost the skirmish, but Velociraptors aren't quitters. He'll be back. Two nights pass, and in the comfort of her home, Andromeda tends to her nest. Her clutch is relatively small, only 6 eggs. But no matter the number, Andromeda will defend her brood with her life. She has been kept healthy by Ajax's successful hunts. But tonight he has yet to return. A juvenile Protoceratops ignites her hunger. The battle has cost her almost her entire clutch. Almost. Elsewhere, the Protoceratops herd Ajax has stalked is in a state of stress. Ajax attacked again in the previous night, still unsuccessful. Both encounters have taken their toll on the old male, however. Ajax returns, and tonight he intends to finish what he started. 5 weeks go by. As usual, Ajax returns to Andromeda, ready to feed her. But tonight, someone else is with the pair. Elsewhere, the Citipati pair continues to watch over their nest. Obvious adjustments have been made, but for the most part the eggs inside remain stable. Being so aggressive, few animals are brave enough to raid a Citipati nest. But leaving your nest unguarded leaves it vulnerable for all sorts of thieves, no matter who the parents are. A female Tsaagan approaches. The attack seems to have been a failure, but was it truly an attack? A few nights after the Tsaagan's raid, the Citipati rest in the cool of the night. Little do they know, there is activity close by their nest. It's a baby Tsaagan. As it happens, the raid by the female wasn't for food. She laid an egg of her own inside the Citipati nest, as a form of nest parasitism. Knowing full well that the resident parents would kill it on sight, the chick leaves to live out its life on its own, developed enough to fend for itself efficiently. In 1993, the skulls of 2 baby theropod dinosaurs were found alongside eggs belonging to an Oviraptorosaur. How these theropods ended up here is not completely known, but one hypothesis is that they were the result of a nest parasite that muscled in its own eggs alongside those of the Oviraptorosaur. It's a strategy that spares them from spending energy raising the chick on their own. In the nest, eggshell scraps were also found, which could support this idea. Behavior like this is widespread among birds, the most famous being the common cuckoo bird. Here, this female is raiding the nest of a reed warbler in England. Since the cuckoo's egg is almost identical to those of the reed warblers, the surrogate parents have no idea that a cuckoo just hijacked their nest. The egg develops and hatches much faster than those of the reed warblers, and the moment it enters the world, it literally kicks out the remaining competition. The drive to rear a chick prevents the warblers from simply killing the imposter, and so are forced to raise it as their own. In 2 weeks' time, the cuckoo chick has become bigger than the nest it lives in, and will continually demand food from the warblers until it is 3 weeks old. Not all birds that practice nest parasitism are this extreme, however. The chicks of the black-headed duck from South America, for example, simply ditch the nest they were laid in as soon as they can to fend for themselves. If the theropod skulls were the result of nest parasitism, it's very likely that they would have left the nest as soon as they could, much like the cuckoo duck. The baby dinosaurs, believed to have resembled dromaeosaurs, would have been far too different to have fooled the oviraptorosaurs into raising them on their own. It's also possible that they were brought to the nest by the mother as food for her babies. Whatever the case, discoveries like these are extremely rare, and it's finds like this that help scientists consider how similar dinosaur behavior is to modern-day birds. Elsewhere, Ajax and Andromeda prepare for a night of hunting. Their chick will tag along to watch. He is growing fast, and so is his appetite. The family comes across their first potential targets. It's the Protoceratops herd, fighting over a dead Tsaagan chick. Though normally herbivorous, Protoceratops won't pass up a piece of carrion. It has been hypothesized that ceratopsians were sometimes omnivorous, using their sharp beaks to rip flesh and crush bone. Out here in the Gobi Desert, where plant material is hard to come by, such behavior is quite reasonable. As the Velociraptor pack watches, someone is watching them. It's the rogue Velociraptor that attacked Andromeda when she was guarding her nest. On this night, he intends to get to her, even if it means killing her chick and Ajax. found in 1971, the famous fighting dinosaurs fossil remains one of the most incredible dinosaur discoveries of all time. Described as a Mesozoic Pompeii by some scientists, it presents a battle between a Protoceratops and a Velociraptor in a duel to the death. As the battle seemed to near its end, a natural disaster, possibly a sandstorm or a collapsing sand dune, buried them alive, entombing them and preventing erosion or scavengers from halting the fossilization process. It also provides scientists with a clear predator-prey relationship between Protoceratops and Velociraptor. It's finds like these, and many more, that have made the Gobi Desert of Mongolia a gold mine for paleontologists since the early 1900s. The finds of Roy Chapman Andrews, and those like him, have helped revolutionize our understanding of dinosaurs, both in how they looked and how they acted. Only time will tell when the next groundbreaking discovery will be unearthed in this harsh desert. For the dinosaurs of Mongolia, life will continue to present them with challenges, and only the hardiest will live on to meet them. In the case of Ajax and Andromeda, the Velociraptors, they have met many of them in their struggle to reproduce. Now, they will raise their chick as their own, and with his parents' guidance, he too will grow up to become one of the most fearsome theropods to ever roam Mongolia's graveyard desert.